y'all, welcome. I wanted to do a riff on another holiday classic, the sweet potato casserole. So this year I proposed to you savory sweet potatoes. And to add that bit of savoriness, we're going to put bacon. A friend of mine introduced me to this and she said it was the hit of the night. Hang out with me and pick up some tips on how you can put as much or as little effort into the sweet potato casserole as you want and it still be the hit of your holiday gathering. But I won't tell anybody if you end up keeping it all to yourself. My name is Heather and I want you to feel confident in the kitchen and be able to make any recipe your own while having some fun with the process.
First, we need to prepare our sweet potatoes since they're going to take the longest. We are going to be peeling off their skin, so don't put a lot of work into washing them. Then I'm going to stick mine in the microwave, so I'm poking holes all over them. You could instead put them in the oven for an hour at 425 for 40 to 50 minutes depending on their size. Or you could use canned sweet potatoes. If you're going that route, see if you can find sweet potato puree or sweet potatoes in a light syrup. If you're going with a microwave like me, start with 5 minutes. Check them. You're looking for them to give when you squeeze them. If they're not ready, turn them, and then I did another 3 minutes and pulled out my smallest sweet potato, and then the rest were ready after another 2 minutes. While they're cooking, let's prepare the topping. This starts with bacon bits. I slice the bacon into bits before cooking it. This helps it achieve an even coloring. Then I stuck it in my air fryer for minimum cleanup. No bacon backsplashes for me. Since I wouldn't be babysitting the bacon bits, I went ahead and broke them up before letting them cook. If you'd prefer, you could also stick the bacon bits in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes to cook, or put them on the stovetop. I ended up going about 2 minutes longer than the bacon setting on my air fryer, but I think we can agree they came out perfectly. You could put them on a paper towel to soak up excess bacon grease, but I knew I would be adding butter later, so a little bacon grease is just more flavor. Speaking of the butter, let's go ahead and melt some. I'm putting a lot, not only in the topping, but in the sweet potato mixture. So I melted about 12 tablespoons. You can do this in the microwave if you would prefer. To continue the topping, to your bacon bits, add your preference for nuts. I prefer the texture of walnuts, but you could do pecans. I think pistachios would also be fun and fancy. Then add brown sugar, light or dark. Remember, you can always add, but it's harder to subtract. So feel free to start with a smaller amount of sugar and work your way up. Then add about a third a cup of all-purpose flour, and then about a third to a half of the melted butter. You just want everything to be a little wet. Then cayenne to taste. The cayenne was a big hit, but if you're not a spice fan, feel free to leave it out. Then do rosemary and sage to your heart's content. In the end, I think I could have halved the amount of sage I added and kept the rosemary about the same. I kept the stems from the rosemary and sage so I could continue to enjoy their delicious smell. I added a little vanilla bean paste to marry some of the flavors between the sweet potato base and the toppings. Then taste it. I definitely needed more salt and could barely taste the cayenne, so I added some more of both. Now that your sweet potatoes are cooked and cooled, let's skin them. It's easiest to cut them down the center and then remove the potato from the skin. My parents have some chickens that I know are gonna go bonkers for these skins. Transfer the sweet potatoes to a bowl and then add some brown sugar. Again, it's easier to add the sugar than subtract. I think I could have gone with a little less here. Then add vanilla extract. I'm always here to add more vanilla than others might deem necessary. Maybe vanilla is the garlic of the baking world. What are your thoughts? Then I added some cinnamon. Since we're going for a savory dish, you could add in pumpkin spice instead and have that nutmeg and clove taste highlighted. Then add the rest of the melted butter. I wanted to show you real quick how butter will separate into clarified butter and milk solids when melted. The whitish stuff in the butter is the milk solids, which is fine to use in this dish since we're cooking everything at a low enough temperature. And you can wait to add the eggs until you've tasted it for safety. I almost always forget to do that though, and end up taking the risk in order to do a little taste test. The eggs are to make the sweet potato base even fluffier. So if you're anti-egg or don't have any, feel free not to use them. It'll just be more solid. And then you're gonna wanna add salt to taste. Now squish it all together, mashing the potatoes into your desired texture. Some people like them really smooth. Some people prefer some chunks. Something I like about casseroles is you have a certain amount of freedom to customize. I wanted to taste the difference between adding rum and not adding rum. So I put in half the base and then added a couple of tablespoons of spiced rum, and then added the rest of the base in. I put a sage leaf on at the end so I remembered which side was which. Then crumbled the topping on top, trying to get an even distribution of bacon and nuts. Then into the oven at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. And then look how beautiful it is coming out of the oven.
1000%. This is one of those times when I wish you were here so that you could smell exactly what this smells like. It smells like the holidays, like a bacony holiday, and I'm here for it. So let's go ahead and try it without the rum first. I don't know how you can get better than that. The sweet and the savory coming together to just make this beautiful blend that tastes like Christmas. Now let's try it with the rum. It added an extra caramelization to the entire thing. So if you're looking to stick more on the savory side, I'd say maybe don't add in any alcohol. But if you want to add in that extra caramel nuttiness, do it. Over the top amazing. I sincerely hope you try this. Please let me know if you do. Let me know any variations that you put into it, because that's my favorite thing to learn, is to know what everybody does with their own to make it their own. Or if you make it exactly as is, please. I'm here for that too. It's all delicious. And remember, it starts with a bite.